Hey, thank you for joining us at the Silicon
My
Valley
pleasure.
Boomer Venture Summit this year in beautiful Berkeley. You had one of the more provocative panels this year. We really wanted to highlight what's new and what's next. And most everyone knows that in California, recreational marijuana is now legal.
Sure.
But you're doing something completely different in Kentucky.
We are. We're extracting hemp and oh,
Come on in.
sorry.
Okay. No, Steve can stay. We just have him start over.
Yeah, why don't you start over? Sorry.
Oh, no, you're
all right.
okay. You're okay. You want me to, okay. All right.
sorry.
Hey, thank you for joining us again
My
in
pleasure.
beautiful Berkeley for the Silicon Valley Boomer Venture Summit. You had one of the more provocative panels yesterday because we all know that in California, recreational marijuana is now legal, but you're doing something completely different in Kentucky. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got into this and what you're doing?
Sure. Well, we're doing extraction of hemp. So we're doing a lot of the same things that the medical marijuana community are doing, but we just do it out of hemp instead of marijuana. And how I got into that was, it's like a story you would hear anywhere. Talking to a friend, what are you doing? I'm working with UK on some studies, the University of Kentucky in our area. And I got interested in it and saw it and got involved in it. And I really wanted to create a brand and push out the medicinal properties of hemp. And you're going to hear a lot about that because if I can sum it all up in one statement to make it real easy, marijuana has this much THC and this much CBD, and CBD is generally given the credit for the medicinal side. Well, hemp is from the same family. It's just flip-flopped. It has this much CBD and this much THC. And so what that gives us the ability to do with less plants is produce more CBD, so we can make it cheaper, but it's exactly the same. It's the same chemical inside.
So you've created a cash crop for this, literally, in Kentucky.
Well, Kentucky's very excited about this. So we got involved in the 2014 Kentucky Farm Bill, and that is to study industrial hemp as a viable product for our state. And many states are doing that. The federal government passed a law saying a state could create a program. And yeah, that translates directly into farms and cash crop. Now, as you may know, in Kentucky and surrounding states, Tennessee and North Carolina and everything, we used to grow a lot of tobacco.
Right.
And a lot of farmers get paid not to grow tobacco as subsidies go, or not subsidies, but lowering a crop. And that same process is conducive to growing great hemp. So we have something called a tobacco base everywhere where you grow tobacco on these farms, and these farms are sitting empty, and they said study industrial hemp and we'll see if it's viable for the state. And I can assure you that it is. Kentucky is passing Colorado now as the #1 hemp state as far as acres grown. Acres producing product will take us a little longer, and it's exciting. It's exciting for Kentucky.
That's terrific. And so the extract that you get from the plant, who is your customer?
Our customer, well, we of course have stores that sell it, but the end user, it's the person with anxiety, with cancer, with pain. A lot of pain. We are doing, or a lot of people are doing studies about the opioid crisis and how this did. See, hemp or marijuana, either one, these cannabinoids is what they're called, and CBD is one of those. They work together, and they do things for the mental side of a person. So you're talking about people with PTSD and anxiety. It will calm them without getting them high on the hemp side. But then it has a physical side of it. So it's one of the best anti-inflammatories ever found. And if you think about that, what is inflammation? It is bowel diseases like Crohn's and colitis. It is arthritis everywhere. It's migraines. It's all of these multiple sclerosis when your spine's being squeezed and you have nerve pain and those types of things. And this, as you can read on the internet, I'd recommend anybody go type CBD and anything, and you'll read 500,000 articles about what this is doing.
And it fits really nicely into sort of the trend back to natural remedies for illness and disabilities.
It is natural, and people say, well, it's from a plant and everything. I always say, do you know where aspirin came from? It came from the bark of the willow tree. And you know where penicillin came from? It came from moss, right? Everybody knows that one. But why is it so strange to think that the best anti-inflammatory ever found could come from a hemp plant? So.
So I've heard a rumor that you may be supplying your panel mate from here, Octavia. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, there's kind of different rules on hemp today, and it could change, but there's different rules than in the hemp world than the marijuana world. And that's because ultimately, and we always joke, we have these big bags of hemp, gather around and start smoking it. You're not going to get high, all right? But if you think how that translates, we can still provide all the medicinal properties that people need, and they're not getting high. But when we grow it in the fields, we don't have to worry about kids getting in there and grabbing it because they don't want to smoke it, and we don't have to worry about it creating anything in the extended community because we have a new drug in our community. So it gives us a lot of flexibility in selling it in the states without the states worrying about some of the conversations that are up with medical marijuana. How's that going to affect, driving, and how's that going to affect our kids, and how early are they going to get into, different drugs and those things that are high in the subject.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us this year for the 15th Annual Boomer Venture Summit, and you were really our Hot Topics panel this year.
We had a ball. It was a great time.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.